So if I've not met the client before, I'll take note of the surroundings. It's all about figuring out who the client is, who they are, what they're about, how they live their lives, what they're gonna do in their outdoor space. Some people it's their family, some people it's their dogs, some people it's work. I find out that they're working 14-hour days. That outdoor space becomes a completely different experience than if you have someone who is entertaining for the whole family, where they have all the grandkids and all of that coming over. It's gonna be a completely different way we approach that space. So yeah, it starts with questions of who are you, what's important to you, how do you live your life, how do you want this to be, how do you want to feel when you're in your outdoor space. We start there. Our goal is always to create peace of mind through the process, and when they get to that final place of being complete and they're in their space, is for them to just go, I love it. I love it. That's always our end goal. And everybody at KLC is wired the same way. Then we look at the actual space itself. So is this conducive to west sun, morning sun, or do they live in an area where it's really damp and moist, so they're gonna have mosquito issues in July? We also are gonna always ask them about budget. Often they don't know, so we will come back to them and say, for what it is we think you wanna do, now that we know you, we will suggest a budget, because people don't know what it's gonna cost to do that. Maintenance is also a huge question we ask early on. What is your level of comfort around maintaining your outdoor space? Are you gonna wanna be out there sweeping it, mopping it, or are you gonna wanna just come out at the end of your day and enjoy it? So that's how we start. We really figure out who you are. We figure out how you live, and the design comes after. After we figure out who they are, then I will ask to see if they have inspiration photos, which often when we look at, there's different things in all of it. And if I get to know the client first, I can look at it and be, okay, so this is what she likes, this is what he likes. And then when we come back and bring them the whole design presentation, we're able to actually then figure out what direction they're going in terms of design. I would say in terms of when the light bulb goes on, it's a different energy. You can see they're getting excited about it, because if I just come in and design it because of a picture they show me, I'm going to fail. They're not at the end of the day gonna go out on that patio and go, oh, this is perfect. It's not gonna be that. It might look like their picture, but it's not perfect for them. Outdoor spaces for lighting are often very overlooked. And you also have to look at where you live. So for example, solar lights. People love solar lights because they it's easier, they don't need electricians, they have all this great light. But the reality in our climate here in Vancouver is if you have solar lights in the summer, they don't come on until you're done on the patio, unless you happen to be someone who starts entertaining at 10 o'clock at night. So in the winter, they don't work because we don't have sun. And the other thing is our eyes adjust at night, which people don't understand. So when they put daylight light bulbs outside, in the evening, that's never gonna feel nice. Our eyes adjust as it gets darker, so outside lighting in particular must always have dimmers on it if you're gonna do it. We love lighting in the landscape. We love candlelight, we love layering of light, because that's when people tend to be outside, is after work, and not just on the weekends. So if there's budget for it, lighting's huge outside. Climate is everything. So I went to High Point this year, and some of the outdoor furniture that's been designed this year is stunningly beautiful. I was super excited about it, but most of it would not work in our climate. But of course it works in the desert, it works in California. Maintenance here is so important. So we just had a project this week where there's multiple outdoor spaces. There's outside pool areas, there's rooftop patios, there's covered areas, there's cabanas, but it's in our climate. So the whole question was, is you have these amazing outdoor spaces, how do we extend that from May till end of October? Nobody wants to bring in pillows every single day for multiple outdoor sitting areas, or even one, right? So we use a lot of aluminum in this climate. There's also some great products now. Some of the designers are coming out with some amazing product that's designed that's comfortable, looks great, and doesn't even have pillows. Or designing covers for stuff that makes sense. Like I just picked one up yesterday for a giant outdoor table that seats 10 people. The designer did us a cover, one cover that covers the entire thing. So this client, she's not covering 10 chairs, moving pillows in, covering the table. That's never going to happen. But one piece that goes over the whole thing, it's brilliant. Works for her lifestyle, keeps it clean, and it works great. This is something we always address as we get a bit further in, because some people hate being cold, some people hate being too hot, and there's so many ways if you plan early on, especially if it's a new build or you're doing a major renovation, to plan for everything from fans to even we've done water spritzer things and heat rises. So you get all these great heaters, beautiful fire pits, but unless you're basically sitting on that fire pit, you're not warm, right? So that's just something to consider, is you're never gonna fight Mother Nature. That heat is going to rise. So if there's no way to trap it and bring it back down or direct it towards people it's gonna be pretty, which is fine too. Some people just love the beauty of a fire pit, and that's totally fine, but that is something we always consider now. The other thing to consider is screens. If you can design in screens that keep the bugs out, again, it comes back to that initial conversation of what's important to you. How long do you want to be outside? Are you using it in the evenings? Do you want to use your outdoor area in the middle of winter? It's a completely different design process then, because you have to deal with heat and bugs and wind and rain. You gotta look at the elements, because the elements aren't gonna change. We love doing transition from indoor to outdoor that's seamless and beautiful and ties the design from the inside to the outside. And we love using Decton by Cosentino because there's so many options that allow us to make that happen in terms of the thicknesses of their product, the sizes of their product. It works brilliantly. But then there's other clients. We just currently had a conversation with a client who has been recommended that she do indoor to outdoor, beautiful, beautiful space on the ocean, but she doesn't like hard surface under her feet when she's living inside. So for that situation, absolutely not. She should have something under her feet inside where she is most of her day that works for her. And then we transition to a different outdoor material that still looks amazing, but that isn't a seamless same product from inside to outside. So it comes down to how the space is being used and the preference of how the client wants to live.